In this podcast episode, Tony Robbins shares profound insights on how to overcome feeling stuck in life by mastering the art of decision making. He explores the psychological roots of stress and overwhelm, the importance of making committed decisions, and a systematic approach to decision making that can transform one's life. Throughout the conversation, Tony also discusses the interplay between spirituality and pragmatism, the balance between achievement and fulfillment, life seasons, and the evolving nature of purpose and faith. Tony Robbins identifies fear as the primary obstacle preventing people from making decisions that could improve their lives. Fear of making the wrong choice, fear of imperfection, and fear of consequences often freeze individuals in place. He explains that life quality is determined not by circumstances but by decisions, and that stress emerges when people feel controlled by external events rather than in control themselves. Despite unprecedented access to information, people are overwhelmed and paralyzed due to a lack of wisdom and decision-making skills. Decision-making is framed as the most crucial skill for overcoming struggle and living a fulfilling life. Tony reflects on his own challenging upbringing and how consistent decisions, not conditions, led to his success. He emphasizes that many decisions are reversible, counteracting the common fear that one must have perfect information before acting. Making decisions, even imperfect ones, builds momentum, strengthens what he calls decision-making muscles, and mitigates the paralysis born from overthinking. Tony breaks down decision-making into 3 stages. Decide is the initial moment of choice, often accompanied by uncertainty. Commit extends that choice into the future, anchoring the individual's energy and focus. Resolve is the place of inner peace, confidence, and acceptance, where doubt and fear evaporate, enabling decisive action and persistence. The story of General Schwarzkopf illustrates the necessity of making decisions without perfect information and owning them fully, adapting as necessary. According to Tony, waiting for perfect certainty is futile because life is inherently uncertain. In fact, opportunity often passes during hesitation. The antidote to overthinking is action, making decisions supported by faith, not blind certainty. Faith is described not in religious terms, but as the capacity to trust beyond current circumstances. He notes that not deciding, living on the fence, creates more anxiety than wrong decisions, as it leaves the brain trapped in uncertainty. Tony shares a 6-step decision-making framework represented by the letters OCEMR: outcome, options, consequences, evaluate, mitigate, resolve. This process starts with clarifying what you want, outcomes, and prioritizing these desires by importance. He encourages writing these down to avoid mental overwhelm. Then, all possible options are listed and assessed for upsides and downsides. The evaluation phase estimates the probability of consequences, grounding emotion in reality. Mitigation explores creative ways to reduce risks or combine options. Finally, resolve commits fully to action. This structure combines clarity, realism, creativity, and commitment to guide better choices. Tony distinguishes between the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. Achievement involves measurable skills and strategies that produce results, financial success, physical health, or business growth. Fulfillment, however, is an individualized and artistic process tied to personal meaning, growth, and contribution. Without fulfillment, achievement can feel hollow, as exemplified by stories of famous individuals who achieved great external success but were internally suffering. True happiness and meaning come from progress and growth, which energize giving and connection. Progress, according to Tony, is the core of happiness. People feel alive when growing because it means they have something valuable to give. When growth stalls, decay sets in, be it in relationships, business, or personal development. He urges listeners to confront problems and challenges as necessary resistance that sculpts character and spirit, much like muscles grow under pressure. Rejecting problems or seeking only comfort leads to stagnation and unhappiness. Tony dismantles the common narrative that external praise builds self-esteem. Instead, self-esteem is earned internally by doing difficult but right things and demonstrating resilience. This grit and inner strength cannot be given or taken away by others. It grows through effort, discipline, and decision-making under pressure. Relaxation and self-care have their place, but do not build esteem or fulfillment on their own. Life unfolds in recognizable phases. The early years, 0-21, are a time of absorption and growth, like spring. The adult testing phase, 22 to 42, is often the most difficult, marked by struggle and self-discovery. Midlife, 43 to 63, brings the fruits of accumulated knowledge and relationships, along with leadership opportunities. The later years, 64 plus, provide the chance for wisdom, deeper meaning, and contribution. Recognizing the rhythms and patterns of life helps reduce fear and enables strategic action in alignment with one's season. Tony embraces both spiritual depth and systematic pragmatism. Drawing from experiences in Eastern philosophies and Western business strategies, he believes that spiritual development is essential but must be accompanied by action and strategy. His spirituality is rooted in faith, understood as trust and growth, rather than rigid doctrine. He encourages individuals to cultivate a personal, unique relationship with God or the universe, one that evolves over time and supports meaningful contribution. Tony challenges the idea that one must discover a singular, lifelong purpose. Instead, purpose is dynamic, shifting with life's seasons and relationships. Purpose grounds life in meaning, but need not be a fixed grand mission. He encourages living purposefully in whatever role or stage one inhabits, allowing growth and meaning to unfold naturally. The conversation touches on the alarming rise in anxiety and depression, especially among younger generations, and critiques simplistic responses like excessive comfort or self-care without challenge. Tony highlights studies showing that learning to increase control over one's time and decisions enhances satisfaction and productivity. He warns against extremes of hustle culture and passive self-care alike, advocating balance rooted in growth and purposeful action. Tony promotes immersion as a powerful catalyst for change, fully engaging in experiences that drive transformation. He mentions events like the Time to Rise Summit, where focused, deep engagement over several days enables breakthroughs in mindset, decision-making, and life momentum. This contrasts with fragmented or superficial efforts to improve, highlighting the importance of dedicated time and energy for meaningful progress. At older ages, Tony observes, connection and contribution gain greater prominence. Building long-term relationships and giving back becomes central to fulfillment. Success is measured less by achievement alone and more by what individuals become and contribute over time, emphasizing that life's real value lies in moments and meaning rather than possessions or status. Tony explains his view of a spiritual relationship as deeply personal and evolving, more about emotional experience than intellectual certainty. He shares a story about reading the Bible cover to cover, grappling with the growth of the divine concept over time, which mirrored human experience. He respects diverse beliefs and advises listeners to seek their own understanding rather than adopt others' dogma. This personal faith fosters guidance, courage, and a sense of being part of something larger, which supports resilience and purpose.